This is probably a little TMI, but I'm going to tell it anyways. So then, about the peeing, and why did I go and give my urine sample to the laboratory? Well, this is probably a little TMI, but I'm going to tell it anyways because maybe someone else has the same problem too, and maybe this will help you by giving an example that others can have these symptoms as well, and it's totally okay and totally normal, and you don't have to be afraid of that. So even before pregnancy, I started having difficulties with peeing. It will sound really weird, but I mean that if there was a situation that I didn't know that there's a toilet nearby, I was starting to think that where could be the nearest toilet if I need to go. And most of the times that this happened was when I was in public places, or that there was something that I was nervous about. Or if I was, for example, at school and I had to be at the class and I knew that it wouldn't be nice for the teachers or for the other students for me to just go to the bathroom in between or during the class and to disturb them that way. I was starting to then think even more about that I need to pee. And then when you start to panic, of course, then you have to pee even more. And then I always just had to go to pee. So it started to form like as almost like a panic attack, but it was always related to me being afraid that I would pee in public or something. And you can only imagine when you get pregnant and you have this kind of a problem, and when the baby starts to grow and the hormones are starting to interact with these symptoms, it's going to be a mess, at least in your head. So, yeah, even in the beginning of the pregnancy, I started noticing that I have to pee very often and more frequently than before. But now, in the beginning of my second trimester, and around the time that I started my last practice at the home care, because my body started to change even more and the pressure on my bladder became higher, stronger, because of the baby moving and the uterus growing, I started to have to pee even more often, but this time it was so that I had to pee, I felt like I had to pee a lot, but then when I went to the toilet I peed only just a few drops. Not a few drops exactly, but like a very small amount related to the feeling of having to pee like a sea or something. So then, because my bladder didn't empty all the way with every time I had to go to pee, it meant that I had to go more often because it was full all the time. And you can only imagine when in home care, you go to the customers' homes. You might, now that it's the time that you have to start giving the influenza vaccinations, which we did with my tutor. So we had to go to many customers' homes because there were so many customers that needed the influenza vaccination. So we had about 2 to 4 customers to visit in one day. Not every single day because we had some other works as well to do, but those days that we went to home visits, we had about 2 to 4 visits. And one visit was like for an hour or a little less, which meant on those days of 4 visits that I had to hold my pee for even up to 5 hours. And that was impossible. That was like totally impossible. So I started to like panic in advance at home. Like always the night before, I was saying to Daniel, like, I don't know if I'm going to make it this time, like without peeing myself, because we are having so many visits tomorrow. And then because of this fear of mine to having to pee all the time and to probably peeing myself in public or in somebody's home, I started to like all the time think, where is the nearest toilet? When can I have a peeing break? Or do I have paper with me? Or can I go outside to pee or something? So it became this like overthinking reaction in my head. And of course, when you have this kind of overthinking, you will have to pee way more often. And there were a couple times that I had to pee, asked to use the toilet of the customers, unfortunately, which is not nice, but of course they understand, and I'm so grateful that they understood. And then also there were a couple like public places that I could go in between the visits. But it was really tough mentally. It was so tough to have to think about these toilet things every single day. And I think that was so far the lowest low of my pregnancy. And even though I really enjoyed my practice, I really enjoyed my home care practice, but because of the huge emotional stress that I had, I was so glad that it ended. It ended actually now exactly a week ago. So it was a huge relief in that way. And yeah. Then this week I called to the maternity clinic because of this thing, and they said that we will have to investigate, and therefore I had to today take the urine samples, or pee to the cup, and then take the specimen tubes, and I had to deliver them to the laboratory so that they will check them in case there is some infection. But I haven't had any UTI, so urinary tract infection symptoms, other than frequent peeing. But because of my past with the peeing thing, I think it's probably mostly mental, added to the fact that I'm pregnant and there are hormones and everything together with this thing. So super nice. But anyway, that's also a normal thing, and the luckiest thing is that I haven't peed myself yet. And I'm really happy about that, because I've been reading from many places that it's totally normal that pregnant women start to have incontinence at some point of the pregnancy. Not everyone, and it depends also on the on those I don't remember the name of the muscles, but those muscles there that help you to hold the pee. Deep something muscles. Again, I will insert the name somewhere in here. Then to end the list, which again became a huge rant, but the list of pregnancy symptoms, the most exciting and the most heartwarming symptom that I've had is that I've started to feel the baby move and kick a lot. There are no words to describe the feeling, because it's so new to me, and So it was around week 12 that I started to have these little flutters. I've read from some places that people describe these feelings as having some bubbles in your stomach area, and it was actually about at the same week that I had my first the second ultrasound, then that I started having these feelings, but I wasn't exactly sure if that was just gas or something, or if it was the baby. But I think it was the baby, because it felt different to gas bubbles or whatever. And since then they have started to become more obvious and more intense, if that's a good word to put in here. But for the last, I would say, 3 weeks, these kicks have started to be like frequent, and they've started to feel every day. I've started to feel them every day, and like every week that goes by, they just become stronger and more clear. And I don't know, it's a I have no words to describe how happy I am to feel her or him, because like that's other than having symptoms, that's the ultimate way to like know that you are pregnant and growing a human inside of you. And I'm so sorry that that I'm without words, but it's so amazing to feel them. And it was last week that I felt a kick when I was holding my hand over my belly. I felt the kick to my hand, so that it wasn't just a feeling that I had inside of me, but then I could feel it with my hand too. And Daniel also felt the baby's first kick, or his first feeling of the baby's kick was last week. And it's making everything even more concrete, because now we can kind of like communicate with the baby, even though we haven't like yet noticed that she or he would be like responding to our talking. But still we feel like, because we know that usually she or he starts to kick when I'm laying down on my back or when I'm eating. That's actually quite interesting, that when I'm eating something, she or he starts to kick a lot. And we've been laughing about it, because it's like she or he is really excited for food, which is really a good thing, because we are excited for food as well. But yeah, I don't know why is it exactly, but it's the best feeling in the world when you are going through all these changes in your body that aren't necessarily like a happy thing, in the sense of like, yay, I'm becoming bigger, and yay, I have to pee all the time, and yay, stuff like that. But then of course they are good things, because that means that everything is fine, and your baby is growing and developing normally. But now that we can feel her or him, it's just amazing. And yeah, I think that I have been talking way enough about my symptoms, and I think that the next video will be about my ultrasounds that I've had. I've had two so far. So the very first one and the second one, and we're having a third one during Christmas week, so the 28th of December. And then we will find out the gender if the baby will allow. So we actually got like a hint of the gender during the previous ultrasound, but because it was just an estimate or like a guess from the lady that was doing the ultrasound, I've tried to think not so strongly about that, because then even though we are happy with either a girl or a boy, but I don't want to have this idea of a girl or a boy and then having it to change radically, dramatically, something. Yeah, but we will find out the gender probably in 3 weeks, and that's going to be so exciting, because then we get to actually start to buy things for the baby, like clothes and stuff like that. So thanks a lot for listening for my long rant. Now I have to go and practice for the songs, and then I have to go, I have to go pretty soon to the rehearsals. I spoke too long for you, which is good, because we have to get these things clear, And by the way, leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions for the upcoming videos, or leave a like if you like the video, or if you like to see these pregnancy updates as this vlog style form, or comment down below if you like to see them in the formal way that I've been doing the 2 previous ones.